What happens when the American dream becomes a nightmare? When a mansion in Beverly Hills becomes a house of horrors? Tonight, we dive into one of the most shocking family murders that rocked America. A case where two sons claimed they had no choice but to kill or be killed. From the outside, the Menendez family had it all. Jose Menendez, a ruthless entertainment executive who clawed his way from Cuba to the top of Hollywood's elite. His wife, Kitty, a former beauty queen turned devoted mother, and their two sons, Lyle and Erik, living in a $5 million Beverly Hills mansion, attending the finest schools, wanting for nothing. But behind those pristine gates, something sinister was brewing, something so dark that it would shatter this picture-perfect family forever. August 20th, 1989. A night that would be forever etched in true crime history. Jose and Kitty Menendez were settling in for a quiet evening at home, watching television in their family room. Little did they know death was already in the house, carried by their own flesh and blood. At 10:47 p.m., neighbors heard what sounded like firecrackers, but it wasn't celebration, it was execution. Lyle and Erik Menendez had entered their own home, armed with 12-gauge shotguns, ready to end their parents' lives in the most brutal way imaginable. What happened next was nothing short of a massacre. Jose was shot 6 times in the chest, arm, and a final shot to the head that was so close it blew off the back of his skull. Kitty tried to crawl away, desperately clinging to life, but her sons showed no mercy. She was shot 10 times, her own children reloading to finish what they started. The scene was so horrific that seasoned detectives would later say it looked like a mob hit. Blood splattered the walls, fragments of skull and brain matter scattered across the expensive furniture. The American dream had become an American nightmare. But here's where the story takes an even more chilling turn. After committing this unthinkable act, Lyle and Erik didn't run. They didn't panic. Instead, they went to the movies. They watched a film called License to Kill. How's that for irony? Then they came home and called 911, delivering Oscar-worthy performances as devastated sons who had just discovered their parents' bodies. "Someone killed our parents!" Erik screamed into the phone, his voice breaking with what seemed like genuine anguish. The brothers collapsed at the scene, weeping uncontrollably. Even hardened police officers felt sorry for these grieving young men. While most people would be paralyzed by grief, the Menendez brothers embarked on a spending spree that would make lottery winners blush. Rolex watches, expensive cars, tennis lessons, trips to Europe. They burned through hundreds of thousands of dollars in just months. Erik even hired a tennis coach for $60,000 a year. Lyle bought a restaurant. They acted like they'd won the jackpot, which, in their twisted minds, they had. Their parents' blood money was finally theirs to spend. For months, the brothers thought they had committed the perfect crime. But secrets this dark have a way of surfacing. Erik, consumed by guilt, made a fatal mistake. He confessed everything to his psychologist. And when that confession was revealed, their house of cards came crashing down. The arrest came in March 1990, nearly 7 months after the murders. The two boys who had fooled police, media, and the public were finally unmasked as cold-blooded killers. Make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. You won't want to miss our upcoming episodes. When the trials began, the world watched in fascination as the brothers' defense team painted a picture that was almost as shocking as the murders themselves. They claimed Jose Menendez was a monster, a father who inappropriately violated, physically, and emotionally abused his sons for years. According to their testimony, the mansion wasn't a palace, it was a prison. While Kitty turned a blind eye, more concerned with maintaining appearances than protecting her children. The brothers claimed they lived in constant fear, and that night in August, they believed their father was planning to kill them to keep his dark secrets buried. After 2 separate trials, the first ending in hung juries, the brothers were finally convicted of first-degree murder in 1996. The jury didn't buy their abuse claims, instead seeing two spoiled rich kids who killed for money. Both received life sentences without the possibility of parole. As the gavel fell, Lyle and Erik Menendez, once the privileged sons of Beverly Hills elite, became inmates for life. They had traded their mansion for a prison cell, their inheritance for orange jumpsuits. Today, more than 3 decades later, the Menendez brothers remain behind bars. Their case continues to divide public opinion. Were they cold-blooded killers, motivated by greed, or tragic victims who saw murder as their only escape from years of abuse? The truth may be buried with Jose and Kitty Menendez, but one thing remains certain. That night in August 1989, the American dream died along with them, shot to death by the very children it was meant to protect. What do you think? Were the Menendez brothers victims or villains? Let me know in the comments below. If this story sent chills down your spine, smash that like button, subscribe for more horrifying true crime content, and I'll see you in the next nightmare.